Armed on the deep, the threat from Poseidon. We live in an era where nuclear deterrence remains real, but its character is mutating. One of the latest, most disturbing developments is the Russian undersea weapon known as Poseidon, also referred to as Status 6, NATO codename Canyon. This is no mere torpedo. It is a nuclear-powered, long-range, deep-water drone capable of carrying a multi-megaton warhead and attacking coastal cities while circumventing conventional missile defense systems. What is Poseidon? The weapon is described as roughly 80 feet in length, 5 to 7 feet wide, far larger than any conventional torpedo. Its nuclear propulsion system gives it extraordinary underwater speed, on the order of 100 miles per hour, and range. The warhead is estimated at 1 to 2 megatons, roughly 50 times the yield of the bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Russia has commissioned the submarine Khabarovsk. It's first in a new class armed with Poseidon drones. Each submarine can carry multiple units, meaning the capability is more than conceptual. The destructive potential and aftermath. Detonating such a device offshore, near a major port or coastal city, would differ from an air burst of a similar yield, yet the consequences would be devastating. The weapon may not produce a massive tsunami, contrary to some sensational claims, but its radioactive fallout from a water detonation poses a chronic, long-term environmental hazard. When a nuclear device explodes underwater, fission products bind to salt crystals and suspended sediments. These particles stay mobile, carried by tides and currents, and can resettle on shorelines, docks, harbor bottoms. Isotopes like cesium-137 and strontium-90 become trapped in mud and marine life, creating a self-renewing radiological hazard. The cost and complexity of cleanup are huge. Coastal infrastructure rendered useless for prolonged periods. Days or weeks for triage, but months or years for functional recovery, decades for full remediation. Billions, tens to hundreds of billions of dollars, would be required for a major port city's recovery, excluding the broader economic, health monitoring, and social costs. Why is it hard to defend against? Several factors make Poseidon particularly troubling. First, its nuclear propulsion and design make it exceptionally fast, capable of covering vast distances beneath the waves. Second, it benefits from the stealth environment of the deep ocean, submarine-launched, low acoustic signature, and a long range means that detection and interception are enormously challenging. To protect just one major U.S. coastal city, an undersea detection and interception architecture would need investment of roughly $5 billion over 10 years, including seabed sensors, unmanned systems, command and control, intercept layers. Scaling that to 24 critical coastal cities pushes the bill into the $100 to $140 billion range, before you even count national R&D, program management, and overhead.in effect. Russia can impose a triple-digit billion-dollar defense burden on the U.S. by deploying a relatively small number of exotic undersea weapons. The cost asymmetry is stark. What's the strategic logic? Poseidon is best seen through the lens of deterrence and cost imposition rather than first-strike dominance. Russia appears to be responding to U.S. missile defense build-outs by fielding weapons that bypass those defenses, restoring a credible retaliatory threat. The dynamic is classic arms race. One state's defense investment drives another's exotic weapon investment, which forces further defense spending. The only sustainable way out of this spiral is renewed arms control. A treaty to ban Poseidon-type undersea nuclear weapons would benefit both sides. For the U.S., it would limit a uniquely hard-to-detect threat and spare huge defense costs. For Russia, it would trade an expensive niche program for strategic stability, budget relief, and international legitimacy. What next? In short, weapons like Poseidon challenge existing strategic frameworks. They place pressure on defense systems, race budgets upward, and increase the risk of nuclear escalation or miscalculation. Without a return to robust arms control frameworks, the world faces more new terror weapons, and fewer prospects of avoiding catastrophe. The deep sea has long been a domain of submarines and stealth. Now it may become the front line of strategic nuclear stability, but under completely new rules. The weapon under the waves forces us to rethink not just what-if scenarios, but how do we prevent scenarios? As the article puts it, the rational response is to constrain or eliminate such systems through arms control. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most powerful technologies. See you in the next video. Thank you for listening.